Heather Mcdonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop whoop. Heather Mcdonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have a great show. I had Brandy and Julie in here on Friday and we recorded a ton of hot topics. And in some of those topics, some of the things have come up that I want to just update you on. So in today's show, we're going to talk about the affair, the Good Morning America affair between TJ Holmes and Amy Robach. We talk all about that, how they were both married to other people. We get into that. But what has happened since I recorded the episode, which you'll hear, it also came out that he had a 3-year affair, TJ did, while he was married to his wife. Allegedly, like before Amy, he had a 3-year affair with this married producer. So it's like a couple days ago, people were like, well, hey, it happens. You fall in love. You're not happy with your spouse. You work together. Maybe they'll be the most dynamic duo there is on daytime TV. Well, since this, now the president of the ABC News division this morning said, we are taking them both off the air for now. So they're looking into it. Robin Roberts apparently knew about the affair between Amy and TJ. She was really bothered by it. But now the fact that there was a 3-year affair with a married producer who that female producer was also really good friends with Amy. And they like hung out together and was like my girls' lunch and all this kind of stuff. So who knows? Like he might have been cheating on his wife with the married female producer and then cheated on the married female producer with his co-host Amy. So like Amy might have been the other woman to the mistress. I don't know. This guy is awful. And so I don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to be able to keep their jobs or not. 2 other anchor type people are going to take over the show that they were doing together for now. So that's pretty juicy. Okay, and now for such a fun, juicy show with Brandy and Julie. Hello, and welcome to Juicy Scoop. You're so lucky because I've got Brandy and Julie here, our famous favorite dynamic duo. And they came in with extremely juicy breaking news about not only their own life, but about world events. You guys I'm like, I want to get you in here one more time before your huge holiday trip, which is also a work trip. You're supposed to go on a cruise to Antarctica and perform stand-up and a live podcast. And tell me what happened. There's a breaking news. It says, the Viking Polaris ship of Norwegian flag is seen anchored in waters. Okay, here, that's the photo. But just now, December 1st, 1 person was killed and 4 other passengers were injured when a giant wave broke several panes of glass on a cruise ship sailing in Antarctica in a storm on November 29th. And the Norwegian company and the Argentine judicial source. Okay, so they didn't know. They said, we wondered if it was an iceberg, people are saying. And you are going in those same waters.
Literally, this is the only path one goes.
And you're
That's where we're going.
Set to leave on Monday.
Yep.
After the Juicy Scoop Christmas party.
On that ship right there.
And this is a very nice ship, but it looks
smaller.
Smaller.
It does look smaller.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. We are now Viking, which is also like a very high end cruise line.
Yeah.
I just read that they canceled their next. Whoever's scheduled on the December 5th, they're leaving December 5th to go on their voyage. They canceled it. We would be leaving. We're flying here on Monday, December 5th, to go on that exact same itinerary. I don't feel like facing a rogue wave.
Right, true.
And in this scenario, we have to do expedition gear, show gear, and then walking around the cruise boat because it's always the opposite temperature of what's outside. So like when you go to a cruise, let's say the Virgin Islands, it's always freezing inside the boat because
Right.
it's hot outside. So
and
now
then
it's
when
gonna
it's freezing outside, you're going to be walking through the hall and you're going to be like, I can't
Yeah.
even breathe. It's
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yes, because they're going to be turning up the heat.
Yeah.
And Krista,
We're
like,
going to be turning up the heat too. Woo!
I don't know why she's so positive about it
I'm
for some
trying
reason.
because I cannot deal.
Well,
they have
we'll
a jacket.
Probably, I think you'll know by tomorrow whether this is happening or not.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I'm going to pray that it's not.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right.
I put up my
Ooh,
tree.
That's pretty.
Don't mind that giant foot. I think that was Drake's foot. Balenciaga, I'm just going to finish on
Oh,
this. I've
boy.
talked a lot about it, but I just want to say they have dropped the lawsuit. They put out another statement saying they have dropped the lawsuit. They're not going to pursue litigation. They said we're going to change our process, and on the internal side, we nominate with immediate effect an image board responsible for evaluating the nature of our content. All of that donation, we have set aside a significant fund for grants and organizations so that we can help make a difference in protecting our children. I want to personally reiterate my sincere apologies. Also, Kim supposedly was offered a campaign that she had already turned down before the scandal, but so she's not going to participate in the upcoming thing. Will everyone forget and not care and whatever? I don't know, but I loved that I talked about it. I loved that I went deep dive on it, and I believe that it showed a lot that so few people didn't even want to discuss it. And that's that. Final thoughts, and then we're moving on with this.
My final thought is that I didn't know Pete Davidson was dating Emily Ratajkowski.
Because you were so wrapped up in the Balenciaga saga? Yeah,
And
they went to a basketball game.
And I was absolutely horrified by that for some reason. I don't know.
It's probably not even real.
I don't think it's real either. Yeah.
Or they're just boning, whatever, and it helps each other. Like, let's bone, but let's also make sure that we're not just a booty call. We need to be seen going out as well. Otherwise, the bone didn't happen. It's like if the tree falls in the forest and nobody saw it, did it really happen? If someone's boning Pete Davidson, who's famous, and paparazzi and Page Six didn't report on it, did it really happen? What was the penetration real?
So you think they actually are?
I think they're boning one out. I think they're both really sexual and horny, and why the fuck not? But I don't think it's like any big thing. I think it's like, let's be out and about and be seen.
Yeah, it's definitely a cloud chase. But Pete Davidson just bugs.
I agree. So there you go. Who cares? Let's talk about the juicier scoop. So, exclusive details. Good Morning Affair. So the co-anchors, TJ Holmes, who is this cute, 45, probably good-looking black guy, and Amy Robach, who's this cute, blue-eyed, blonde-haired reporter. They're co-anchors on Good Morning America. They have both been married for exactly 13 years to their spouses. His spouse, wait, let me go first. Let me go to her spouse. Her spouse is Andrew Shue from 90210.
Oh my
Did you not know
God.
this? Not 90210, sorry, Melrose Place, also Elizabeth Shue's brother. He really hasn't done much in front of the camera since Melrose Place, but he started a charity called Do Something, and he also started Cafe Mom many years ago. That was like a big internet thing that eventually shut down, but I think it was like a moneymaker for him. He is the meanest celebrity I ever met.
Oh.
Really?
And he probably wasn't even mean.
Was he just arrogant?
He's just could not give a shit about me. But it just always stuck in my mind because you always remember that person.
Of course.
And you're like, I'm sure he's like perfectly nice. I went to the charity event, Do Something. Someone invited me. I was single. It was like late 90s.
Wait, Do Something like the Do Something Awards?
That's his charity.
Oh, wow.
That's weird. Weird.
Julie performed at the only Do Something Awards, like the award show
At
with
Jane
Lynch. And
That's
I
so
went and
weird.
stood in the hallway and said hello to every celebrity. Not him. Because we were in Jane Lynch's room.
Yeah.
And they were all just like, "Oh, hey, girl." I mean, I have it on video. Every single celebrity walked by. People hugged me.
Okay.
Because they think that when you're in an environment like that, they don't know. They're like
They just think they know you.
They think
that we must have met.
Yeah.
Because if you're in this a room.
Right.
You must be
It was-
somebody I know.
It was so good. It was the first time I ever watched that because she literally did it to everyone. Paula Abdul, Randy Jackson, everyone who walked by. Randy Jackson walked by and she was like, "Hey, how are you?" And he was like, "How are you? How are you doing?"
Every single person.
All
It was
of
so
them.
great.
All
Paula
thinking,
Abdul
knowing
hugging.
you.
Thinking
You
like,
know what? That's what you. So
Yeah.
let this be a note to the Juicy Scoopers. If you ever find yourself in a room that really you don't have the qualifications of being in, a
Yes,
Hollywood room,
Right.
Exactly.
act like fake it till you make it. Act like
Yep.
you are.
Yep.
Be like, "Hey, girl,"
Yeah.
and then
You have
they're
to.
like, "You look great." No, you look great. We.
Yeah.
My God, that night we had together, have to repeat. I'll let you do your thing, but you look great. And then they're just like, "What?" And then you just keep going.
Yeah.
And then someone sees that, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, good to see you."
Yep. And you know what? It works at expensive restaurants too. So if you're at an
How?
expensive restaurant, Simon Cowell walked by. Where was I? It wasn't like at Craig's. And I was like, "Hey," and he was like, "How are you, doll?" And and we, I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, it wasn't the thing of like flirting. It was the thing of I pretended I knew him, and he pretended he knew me.
I think this is a great tip. Do not go up and like be shaking,
Fan out.
sweating,
Yeah.
and be like, "It's because of you." You know, unless you're a Juicy Scooper, then come up and tell me all that because I'll get wet and love it. But like, if you're going to other stars, do what Brandy did.
Yeah, I
Do it.
like to do it in passing. It's like I don't.
Yeah, chill. Like,
yeah.
why do you care?
Yeah, just walk by like, "Oh, hi, good seeing you," and they're like, "Oh yeah, you
Because
too."
you're like, "I'm going to the editing bay to work
Yeah.
on this Plan B
Right.
film with Brad Pitt. I need to like figure out, but I just want to stop,
Yeah.
have some truffle chicken here at Craig's. But
Yeah.
like, you look great,
yeah.
and we got to get that thing going."
Yeah.
And then you just leave. Yeah, I
so
love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So smart. Okay, so anyway, I remember where I was. I was outside at the event, and I was pretty excited because I'm a Melrose Place fan at the time. Like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a great charity." And it was just like, I look back now, he didn't want to fuck me probably, and so he wasn't trying to make a move, and he was probably actually really busy with the event, and he probably didn't really like care to talk to me because I'm nobody, and
But you were a celebrity then.
no,
Oh, you weren't.
no.
Okay.
And so, but I just want to say, it's what I remember. Anyway, so they get married, okay? And I did not realize he has 3 sons, you said? He has 3 sons from a previous marriage.
Wow.
She had 2 daughters. They got married 13 years ago. And and then the guy, TJ, that's his name? TJ Holmes, he has been married to his wife, who's a beautiful attorney, stunning, been married to her for a long time. This last anniversary, or the decade challenge or whatever, he posted a little late. Again, let me tell you something. If there's a love challenge going on Instagram and you miss it by a few days, it means your marriage is going to break up. No, just kidding. But he missed it by a few days. And he had to make up for it. And he wrote, "This is a little late, but 10 years ago, Marilee married me, and despite my best efforts, she remained married to me these past 10 years. I'm not being dramatic. I love her plenty, but I gave her plenty of reasons, excuses, and opportunities to walk her fine ass out the door. But instead, with her built-in black woman superpower, she showed a grace and patience that's incomprehensible. Asking her for another 10 years would be asking too much.
So I'm
Don't
leaving her.
worry, because 3 years later, you were out. If she gave me another 10 weeks, I should consider myself lucky." Well, she did. "And if she puts up with me for another 10 years, I'll be grateful." Well, she did. So they're working together, the 2 of them. Here she is with Andrew Shue. And here the 2 of them do a marathon together, 2 co-hosts. So working on the marathon. They also went to the Queen's Jubilee thing together. And now they're saying, and Good Morning America saying, everyone's saying it, they were actually both separated from their spouses a couple months earlier than them spending a weekend together at a cottage a week or 2 before Thanksgiving. They just never told anybody at work or anywhere that they were both already separated, planning on divorcing their spouses. And then they were like walking back from the bathroom and they're like, "Hey, I'm ready to read with you and do our thing." And she's like, "Is everything okay?" And he's like, "My wife and I we're ending it. And she's like, that's so weird. This past weekend, my husband and I are ending it. Do you want to go to a cabin this weekend and get our fuck on? Apparently, that's what happened.
Right.
No cheating. So if you love
Okay.
Good Morning America, you're going to love it more because now you have a couple in love that are going to be co-hosts together.
But never
Fun fact, we watch a lot of her videos because she goes down to Antarctica and Greenland and she does
bizarre.
shit like that for the show.
Okay, well, good. By the way, look, really great fucking legs. She's got a super cute yellow outfit on. He's good looking too. So then also Daily Mail got these photos of them. This was just a couple days ago of them getting in and out of an Uber with their bags. He's grabbing her ass and, they look like they're very much a couple. And
I have those sweats.
she's 49, he's 45. And they were snuggling up at a New York City bar, spending a romantic weekend together in upstate New York, holding hands in an Uber. And anyway, I have some exclusive juicy scoop. I did research, you guys. You always say I don't do any research. Well, fuck off. I did. I think I know why their marriage broke up, why Amy and Andrew Shue's marriage broke up.
Okay.
Why?
Because in 2018, he did something that is pretty unforgivable when you're the host of the Good Morning America. He started a podcast with his mother-in-law. Andrew Shue and Amy's mother started a podcast with another comedian named Chuck Nice, and it was called Mad Life. And they talked about parenting and things like that. It has been scraped from Apple's podcast. I only found one article about it. Huh? It's like scraped from the internet. I think they only did it for I don't know how many episodes because I can't find any information on it.
That is just embarrassing.
Yeah. And then also Amy and Andrew went on Paula Ferris's podcast November 16th, 2021, just a year ago, to talk about their love, their commitment, becoming step parents, that they go to therapy, that it's worked so well, that they have such a great marriage. And the point is sticking together so much that they wrote a book, Better Together. They wrote a children's book about how no matter what, you stick together, like squirrels or whatever this is.
Squirrels
And
chipmunks.
yeah. So there you go.
Oh God. I mean,
So
that just goes to show you people who want to blast their relationships in public, just don't do it.
Don't.
Just shut up. Just be in a relationship then.
This
I mean,
it sucks for their exes though, don't you think?
That does suck, yeah.
It does. And other people are just like, I love it. I love this combo. I don't know, the fact how she's feeling his ex-wife. Hopefully she's not blindsided. Hopefully she's happy to get rid of him. But it's a work thing. It's on TV. It's interracial. I mean, he brings up the fact that he's like married to a strong black woman. So I'm just saying, because this is Juicy Scoop and I can talk about it, that's going to come up. If it's not coming up in the news, other people are talking about how it shouldn't matter, or it does matter, or it's not a big deal, or she's thrilled, or the only thing that could make this juicier is if she starts fucking Andrew Shue.
That would be great.
And then it's like a Shania Twain, looks like we made it. I wrote this song, and then you cheated with my best friend, but then I got with her husband, and now we're all happy. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not mad if they, people.
They're a very sexy
Whatever.
couple, that's for sure. I think
Work romances happen, and if you're both unhappy and you're both not supporting your partner, and you both have a chemistry, and you have all these things in common, you should be happy.
Marathons will do that to you.
Running
People
a marathon.
People don't cheat if they're happy. So, you know what I mean? So if they got together, they got together. I mean, it's just like there's no win for the other people involved, and it's a horrible thing,
It's
and
a
people
horrible,
get hurt
and who
and whatever.
wants to be with someone that doesn't want to be with you,
Yeah, you
and that's
don't.
being, but apparently it wasn't deceptive at all.
Well, that's
Nothing
bullshit. Well, that's
happened
bullshit.
before. Of course
That's
it is.
ridiculous.
Of course it is.
So we don't have any timeline on if they were internally, like in their marriages, separated.
There's
have-
it's only what they're telling us. So they are saying, yes, we were separated in June. Both of us separated in June and then fell in love in August.
People are real judgmental, and I think that's pretty interesting that, when it comes to stuff like this, people like to get real self-righteous about what they would do and about cheating and what this and that.
I feel like you're looking at me. I don't care that they're cheating. I love
not
it.
you. Not
story
you.
ever.
Not you.
Go cheat away. Tell me about it.
Exactly. In general, I think
Yeah.
people, it's like one of those things that people have a very little compassion for, which I just think is interesting because I have a feeling that it's just one of those things that people get crazy about, but don't know what they would do in a situation or something, or don't know people's lives, or don't know, they don't have enough
what I feel like
empathy for
cheating
people.
is when you are married, but you start to cheat with someone, and you're so sexually attracted to them, and I feel like it must be like when you have a bite of the best dessert you've ever wanted, and you're like, God, I just want to finish this whole thing. And I feel like that's what it must be like when you know you shouldn't be with this person.
Oh, like that.
But
I
you
see.
want
Right.
everything in your being is like, oh, if we could just be together. If we could just be together every day in our bed, making coffee,
Doing the picture.
a dumb Good
Doing
Morning
the
America craft bit.
Yeah.
Talking about something else, like if we could, like how amazing every day would be. Because right now I'm denying myself this chocolate cake every day. No pun intended with the chocolate. You could be vanilla. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying whatever you're into, that you're so attracted to this person it's the forbidden fruit, it's like you can't have it. And so once you give into having it and once it's all out there, I'm thinking it must be like a wonderful relief. And I don't know how old their kids are, but I'm assuming if they brought kids into a marriage, the kids must be older, and they didn't have any kids together. TJ and the Marilee have one daughter together, who's like 10. But her kids
That's
and
tough when there's
Andrew's
kids, huh?
kids, they all must be like older teens by now.
Well, that would be kind of, if I were a kid, I don't know that I want to see that
No.
on either side. That's
No,
where you go,
it's
like,
not
oh.
ever going to be easy for the kids. But if you read this book, hopefully it'll make it good. It's Better Together. Came out October 26th in 2021, which is why they were on this podcast of Paula Ferris promoting their navigated blended families and how easy and great it can be. And if you can collect squirrels, are these squirrels? It's
Looks like a
kid's book.
squirrel and a chipmunk together.
I feel like
I'll tell you what the story's about. When a
Okay.
big thunderstorm shakes their woodland home, the
Woodland Hills?
squirrely family must flee their nest for a hollow in the oak tree, where the head squirrel who reads the news finds her co-host hoarding squirrels in her vagina. To their surprise, the McMunk family and their the family of squirrels and the family of chipmunks
Then the
must
chipmunk-
find ways to live together, which isn't always easy since they come from different backgrounds. Oh my God. But after some important lessons in compromises, the squirrelies and the McMunks realize that life is better together as the McSquirrelies.
I think the animation is very cute.
It is very cute.
Don't you?
Sure, it's squirrels and chipmunks getting together. Can't we all get along?
Can't we all
think
get
that
along?
good old Amy
Look here.
Robach
Oh, sorry.
is like got sick and tired of having to drum up shit for Andrew Shue to make money. And she was like, yeah, TJ started looking pretty good because he had a job and she didn't have to go do a children's book and go do a dumb podcast and have him do a podcast with her mom because she's like, why don't you go get a job?
And then she said, too, she was like, and remember the time that you were mean to Heather McDonald? I'm done.
Yeah.
And
do you
fell into the arms
but
of
do you-
TJ McMurray Squirrel.
But do you imagine that, like, if the podcast was still going on up until like a week ago, because we don't know, and he's like, okay, so today's topic, mother-in-law, is about how your daughter is boning her co-host, which is awkward because you're my co-host. But you know what? This is an unfiltered, keeping it real, no holds barred podcast, and we're going to talk about it. How many son-in-laws can co-host a podcast with their mother-in-law when their daughter, who's married to you, is screwing her co-host on Good Morning America? Not many. I mean, if no one was listening to your podcast, you shouldn't have scraped it, because now maybe I would fucking listen.
That's right. Put it back up, throw some ads on it, and let's get it rocking. We can finally hear all about how how great your marriage is going, how wonderful your family is.
Can you look this up?
Maybe he was fucking mother-in-law.
Was it Amy Robach who had that like hot mic moment where she was pissed because she was supposed to like expose something with Jeffrey Epstein or something? There was something juicy.
No, it was,
or is it Harvey?
It was Harvey Weinstein.
It was Harvey Weinstein. And she's like, my God, I had this story. I had this whole story, and you guys told me I couldn't do it. Was that it? And there was like a hot mic moment. And I remember thinking, oh, it was Epstein. It was Epstein.
Okay.
And I kind of thought, oh my God, she's going to explode. She's going to have her own show. But I was wrong.
Was that her?
She exploded,
Yeah,
all right.
it was her.
Oh, it was.
It was
okay.
her. So she had some story that then her bosses like squashed about Jeffrey Epstein, and she was pissed. And she was like, had a mic on, and she's like, I'm so fucking pissed. Like, why didn't my story get out?
She's got a story now. She's got a big
I hope
story.
everybody's happy. Andrew Shue is available, and he's probably looking for a new co-host to start a new podcast called Divorced Twice. But I'm not done.
I believe in love still.
Yeah, I believe in love still is
Or
the
not.
name of the podcast, and yeah.
Do you think they went back to the McSquirrels?
Yeah.
They're the McSquirrels
So
now.
the McSquirrels, so the squirrels and the McMonks get divorced, but their kids are still stepbrother and sister, and so they go to another cave and start a podcast. And start a podcast with their kids. Okay?
That's right.
And the animation is little squirrels with earphones.
That's right. That's right.
An unfiltered, popular podcast. It's a party inside of a podcast studio like you've never heard.
Collecting nuts and scoop. Little nuggets of scoop from a former stepdad and his stepkids and
the mother-in-law.
It's a tree of a time inside this podcast hole. Mm-hmm.
Also, something that people have been dying for because we don't know anything about them. They're so private. They're so really keep their lives close to them. But for the first time ever, we're not going to talk about the 10 podcasts that Meghan Markle has recorded or the Oprah interview or his tell-all book. This is the first time ever we're going to see the real inside of the love affair and the struggles of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on Netflix. Here is the trailer.
Why did you want to make this documentary?
Not the slow Netflix end.
Photo snapped. Being pregnant. Being cute. Being quiet.
No one sees
always
what's
being
happening
rich.
behind the closed doors.
Being sad over being
And having
I had to do everything I could to protect my family.
by doing a Netflix special. Because that's what my wife wanted. If you want to protect this family, you're going to agree to a Netflix special.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
stakes being
What story? We've
What
heard it.
stakes?
We've heard it from you. You've done a podcast, a book, an Oprah interview. And there's one part where they show in here like a very evil look from Princess Kate. Like looking like,
Oh well, she,
Yeah.
like she was like,
giving her the
like
side
that.
eye.
Yeah, real side eye.
I think Meghan Markle is a thirst bucket, attention-seeking twat,
Of course she is.
and I'm saying that out loud. I can't. I'm so turned off by this, but I will watch it. And it's just like, you know what?
I want to watch it because I want to make fun of it. Also, like, I like the music. I like that they're black and white. Is the whole thing going to be in black and white? That would be
No
annoying.
way. Oh, that is so annoying. I hate that.
It looks like a lot of photos.
It looks like a slideshow that you
Yeah.
see like at her bachelorette party and then his bachelor party.
Yeah.
And then together they have a love party. And then it's like your love is not okay, good for you, but the level of which their love story and their love is so important is just out of control.
Well, I told you guys this, and I put it out there too because it's just like super disturbing, but super creepy. Some of the photos that were featured in this trailer, that's also part of their Vogue magazine spread about their privacy. Peter and I have taken the exact same photos months ago in the privacy of our own home, so I didn't even know they were photos. But it was just moments of just Peter and I, just like me sitting on our countertop, because most moms just like sit on their countertop.
Right.
And then him half dressed in a tux,
Yeah.
like leaning in to kiss me.
Right.
Which is like something we do like every night.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where I was just on Peter's lap and just laughing with my eyes shut and scrunching my nose as he kissed me.
Yeah, it's
They have
hilarious.
the exact same photo.
Weird.
And so I mean, it's just weird to know that like Meghan Markle studies my life, has not only at one time did she also live in Woodland Hills, okay, when she was a kid. Then she went to an all-girl Catholic high school like I did, but one in LA and mine is in Woodland Hills. Then she went on to be in a cable TV show, Suits. I was on Chelsea Lately. I was the first one to think about having kids and did, okay? Then she went on to have 2 kids. I have 2
I
kids.
told you she's such an ass.
I have rescue chickens that I bought at a chicken barn place. She has rescue chickens, okay? And then the final thing was I was the first and only female in the world to have a podcast. Nobody else has one, and now she has one as well.
And you know what? No one knows love stronger than you and Peter. And you and Peter created love. And made love.
Like
and
we thought to get
your
married, and
children
then
are
all of a
born.
sudden-
That's right. And your children are born of love.
Yeah.
And her children are, she's doing, like, she thinks she's got some love. I mean, I know.
She has an awful sister.
You know
I
what?
have an awful sister.
I know you guys haven't shown it in public yet, but I think that you need to re-release Heather and Peter, the documentary, and you should put that
100%,
out.
because when the stakes are
You know
this
what I
high,
mean? Yeah.
when the stakes are this
When the
high,
stakes are this high.
isn't it important that you heard from us?
Yeah, because I think people need to hear from you guys.
Like, what is it really like
What's it
to
like?
be in the royal family
Yeah.
of the DeBiases?
Exactly.
Which a lot of people don't even know. That's my married last name.
the D
Yeah.
apostrophe biases.
Peter's
because
dad-
he needed to make it more
yeah.
American because they come from Monrovia,
Czechoslovakia. And his dad came from a cork factory empire
Empire.
and
Yeah.
escaped to come here
Yeah.
because they wouldn't have the Czech people of the cork factory couldn't provide protection for them. So he
Exactly.
had to come to America and,
right.
then like get married to Peter's mom and like have Peter. And then
Yeah.
I thought I could just be a princess wife.
Yeah, but
and like everyone was awful. And now I have brought the Netflix cameras into our homes in
hope so.
Woodland Hills
Yeah, I hope
because
so.
when the stakes are this high,
Stakes are this high. Yeah, I mean, it was like I remember talking to him, and he said specifically, he was like,
Prince Peter.
Hey, Prince Peter, Prince Peter goes, I will do anything to protect my family.
Yeah.
He was so strong in that moment.
Yeah. Because I told Peter,
So
I said,
girl.
if
Yeah.
you want me to fucking stay in this hellhole of Santa Barbara
Yeah.
/ Woodland Hills,
Montecito.
you better agree to letting me have a Netflix documentary in which I'm going to bash your fucking family.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like, that's the great thing about it, is that you got to get back. He and you, like, and get away from the family, but also exploit the family, but
Yes.
also use the family for your own good, because
Yes.
your relationship is so born out of love and important.
Yes.
But then we got to keep bringing it back to how terrible his family is.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And make sure he doesn't have a relationship with them ultimately.
Ultimately, no relationship with them, but still want to use and exploit the relationship. Really, really great. Really great.
So, Annie, can you make a note? Can you pitch me to be on Archetypes when it comes back? Thanks. That's Meghan Markle's podcast. I'm sure she's going to love to have me talking about words that express women. Today's word, since I've had the Mcdonald on, is thirst trap. And I'm going to talk about how I relate to thirst traps and who I think what is, in fact, a thirst trap. Does it have anything to do with the California drought? Being that I'm now an environmentalist, I care to talk deeply about this. But of course, even though the environment is so dry, it's women who are pointed at as being a thirst trap.
And
How
dry.
about the fields of California? Why aren't they being called a thirst trap? Wow. Why is it always a woman that's called a thirst trap? It's going to be profound anyway.
Very profound.
Is her podcast, is she reading it? Because I can't.
Yes.
So
100%.
Does she write it, do you think?
I think she has a huge team of people. Have you ever listened to other podcasts and then they're like, this was produced by, and then 12 people, audio engineer, 13 more people,
Yeah.
story editor, 14 people. I'm like, what the fuck is it? No, I think though, because this other girl posted something and said, oh, thank you for having me on, and thank you so-and-so for interviewing me, and it wasn't Megan. So I think there's
she's
people
such
that will
an
interview
asshole.
people, and then they'll take those sound bites, and then I think she rolls in and does like wraparounds that either she writes or someone else writes, and then she reads it, because a lot of people are not natural on a mic talking freely that aren't comedians and, certain types of personalities. So it's like, again, podcast, not for everyone on the earth. Not for everyone.
But it seems that everyone's going to have one eventually.
Yes, yeah. But I'm just saying, your talents might be better served doing other things. That's
Yes.
all. So we'll be watching it for sure. Okay. Rebel Wilson. New mom, new wife, new lesbian. Now new fashion designer. New thin person. So she started her line of loungewear, because we need more loungewear. I don't know if you guys know. If there's one thing this world needs more, is people creating sweatsuits.
Well, she by Shue. She switched to
Joggers,
loungewear.
joggers.
Yeah, which is joggers.
Spring, September, fall, spring, September. It's coming. So she started R&R Club. I guess that means rest and relaxation, or rebel and rebel. I don't know what. But the sizes only came in extra small to extra large. And people got very mad at her. They said, you've been a plus size person your whole life. You're only newly a thin person, thanks to Ozempic or whatever you're on. And that's fine. But like, how can you forget your sisters of a larger size? So then she said, oh my God, now that it's so successful, I'm going to add more colors and more sizes. But no, she never had anything larger than extra large before.
I just want to say this. We
Please
make
do.
T-shirts for our 14 listeners. And in those T-shirt sizes, we go from S to XL.
Yep.
Now, during that time, we tried to get XXL, XXXXL, and XXXXXL. The thing is that...
Double XL and triple XL.
And we ultimately got some of the plus sizes. But when you're doing anything with clothes, those plus sizes are more money. They're more money to make.
Yep.
They're more money to manufacture. They are more money. And
more
if
money to
somebody...
ship.
More money to ship. So if somebody is making clothing line for the very first time and she has one outfit, she probably wanted to make sure that she could sell them all before she went and invested more money. So take a seat and... relax.
I'm
just calm down and stop it.
I'm
okay?
on your side, and I'm on her side as well. I remember Wendy Williams actually explained this on her show, that once you get past a certain size, because it requires more material, then you can't sell it at the same price, and then you get criticized
Yep.
for charging more for the plus size audience or customer. So it is what it is, and it's just a sweatsuit. You're not missing out.
You're not. I'm
Go
sorry.
bu- you could buy probably something else that's great quality, that is actually made specifically for your type of figure in that style. So just explore it elsewhere. I mean,
It's not even
You're
cute.
not the
It's just a
monarchy.
sweatsuit.
You're
Yeah.
not the monarchy. Okay.
who's not the monarchy?
If you need an
Well,
XXL or
but
whatever.
we know that Heather is.
Oh, you are the monarchy.
Yeah.
I'm saying like I can't with that. That made me feel insane.
Just picking
that
on it, yeah.
drives me crazy
Yeah.
because that is so entitled and so rude to say what someone else should be doing with their sizes or whatever. It's like you don't know what the money it takes. You don't understand clearly the work that somebody has to put in for that, and it's just like we don't all exist for you.
And also, I'm going to say, there's always been designers. There used to be that this was a designer for plus size people or whatever. And how do you think they feel that now everybody's jumping on their thing? They were the first to do it. Why don't you find those people that have been doing it this whole time and see what they have coming out and focus on purchasing from them? They were the first ones that saw you before anybody else did. So I think that's good.
It is. It's.
I wonder if this was like a thing that just to drum up publicity so that everybody would know that she designed her one sweatsuit.
So she was the person behind the 3 mean, because so many of these articles from like Page Six and stuff, it's like they'll take one comment off of somebody's, then they'll repost the photo and put the comment and be like, the internet went ablaze, saying that you did this and she clapped back. And then that becomes an article because these people their job is to put out 20 Page Six articles a day. And that's you're like, why is this, why is this a story? Well, because that's that person's job and they have to post that many times.
Yeah.
So,
and they got her publicity for a stupid sweatsuit.
Stupid. So also, yeah, I mean, it's stupid.
Speaking of Wendy Williams,
Oy vey.
so
Oy vey,
she's out with a younger companion, but she also was seen walking into a hotel after she did one of her first appearances, where she was sort of like a live podcast situation. She was someone's guest. She keeps saying her podcast is coming. I don't know if it is, but people were concerned because with the way she was walking and stuff. Well, now she does have that disease that affects her.
Graves' disease.
No, and also it's something with her legs too, where she has to have like
All right.
these legs.
Say it in my mouth.
Okay.
No, she has this leg situation. I think
Yeah,
it
we
starts
know.
with an
Yeah.
L.
Yeah.
So I do think
Oh.
it makes it hard for her to. That is why years ago she started wearing tennis shoes on her show. And if you
And
watch
she
her
walks,
documentary,
yeah.
she has to have like this. She has to lay for so many hours a day, where it's like massaging her legs and keeping the circulation going.
What a nightmare.
And so she was walking in, and cameras are coming, and she's like, "Hand, please," to help her get in. And they're like, oh my God, is she wasted? Is she drunk? And other people are like, no, like she's an older woman who also has this issue and she doesn't want to fall over because she might have trouble walking. Anyway, it's really sad. But on top of her new male companion, that horrible ex-husband.
Well, how
Yes?
do we know that wasn't just like security? Do
We
think
don't.
Okay, so that wasn't like her.
We don't know. But this story,
Just full of photos. Like there was no
Just a-
write-up.
this story though, this comes from Hollywood Unlocked, and this says Wendy Williams' ex, Kevin Hunter, the worst dude ever, demands to have monthly payments resumed despite her recent financial problems. So basically, she used to make $10 million a year, $55,000 an episode of her show. And she no longer has her show. And for good reason. I mean, she wasn't well enough to show up.
Yeah.
And they let it go on for a year. And pretty soon they're like, so now Sherry Shepherd Sherry has her own show, but it is that spot and that production company and that place where they film it. And so he's like, where's my money? Based on their settlement, he's supposed to get so much a month. Well, if you know how, child support and alimony works, you get a portion of your ex's amount that they make. But she's not making anything. And he's like demanding the money because, of course, he and his mistress, girlfriend, whatever, that he was cheating on her forever,
Yeah.
they have like a 3-year-old.
I
And
cannot
that's
believe
what
he
sent
still
Wendy
expects
down
money.
I know, that really was
spiraled
it.
her into addiction.
Yeah.
That thing with him. And he can fuck off.
He can fuck
Like,
off.
I
how
know.
dare he?
Yeah.
How dare he? And it's just like, he always lurked on the show too. He worked on it, right?
Yes, he worked on it, and I remember being on the show, and they're like, "You're on the panel with this girl, and they're like, somebody Kevin brought in. She's like a third-tier local radio girl."
Really?
Yeah, and she was fine. She was perfectly nice, but she didn't have she shouldn't have been on the show. Like so many people were dying to be on there, she'd have like a once a month or once a week
Yeah.
panel thing. And like, and you pick 3 different types of people and it would be like her take, hot topic, whatever. And people that I was on there with were like, up there with like personality and they were good at topics and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
you did it with Bevy Smith, I feel like one
yeah,
time.
I've done it with like a lot of people that have gone on to do other things too. But anyway, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, her husband's like a producer too, and this is his friend, whatever. But then in light of all the affair stuff, it made me go, is he that guy that's like going around and being like, you should be on Wendy's show, like, I'm the producer and da 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 da. And then of course he's the EP and the host's husband. No one there is going to be like, no, they're going to be like, fine, it's one day. Have this girl come on. Who cares? It's Kevin's person. But I just remember that, and I was like,
she pretty?
Yeah, she's young and pretty black girl, young, cute, like I said, but like not the credits to be already appearing on TV.
And did you meet him? Like, he was walking
No,
around?
I never saw him.
Okay.
And if I met him, then I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That was her husband. But no, he wasn't like the person that was like giving me notes and like seriously working on the show, coming up with topics and being like, okay, Wendy's going to talk about that. I mean, he wasn't like a working producer like that. I think he just rolled in when he wanted to, threw his dick around and made everyone nervous. So they were like happy when he was gone.
And made his own money. What does he need her money for?
Well,
The kid is
because
over-
he didn't. Because
isn't-
his career was her.
Yeah.
So when that ends, and you think people are going to be like, you know what? We need a really great executive producer on this show. Go see if Kevin Hunter is free. What a delight. What a trailblazer in talk show world. Like, no.
I mean, I thought because little Kevin is
Her
over
son.
18.
Yes, he's like in college. She might already be graduated. And so people are like, where's her son? I mean, I'm sure he's in a difficult position too between the two of them. But I hope she does. I hope she gets better.
Yeah,
He's doing
me too.
okay. Collin Gosselin.
Whoa!
John and Kate +8. He is one of the 6 sextuplets. As you know, they had twins. Twin girls are like 21 or whatever. And then the 6 kids are 18. Of the 6 kids, after they got divorced, the show was gone. Collin was sent to a home, which was a big controversy.
What do you mean?
He was sent to like a living facility for kids when he was like 12. And the dad was like, I want to get him out. I don't like this. And Kate was like, no, it's best for him. That's what he needs. And eventually
Because he had behavioral problems?
Yeah, eventually he, according to her, and eventually he got out of there. Now he's 18 and doing interviews. And when he got out a few years ago and it was living with the dad, along with one of the twin older girls. So the one twin older girl and Collin do not speak to Kate. And he really has no other, and those other kids don't really talk to him. He had 5 other siblings, sextuplets, and the sister, 6 others, because there's 8 kids.
So he's with the older ones?
He's with the one older twin and the dad. And he's saying like, I wish my mom would talk to me. I wish she could, see. And he's very articulate and fine. And nobody knows. Like, we don't know what the situation was. Was he hurting the other kids or what? But this one guy I saw was like, look, I was at that same place. It was a pretty hardcore, like, teen mental facility and for bad kids. He's like, it's basically the closest thing you could come to prison, is the way he said it. And there were adults there, like on other floors, screaming and freaking out. And he said, I was going through a really tough time, but one of my parents visited me every day, this other guy. And he goes, and and I watched Kate in, what is it, John and Kate +8 or whatever it is. And I was like, whoa, is that the kid from, like, he recognized him. And he said, nobody visited him.
Oh my God.
Or he definitely said Kate never visited him. Maybe the dad did. But the Kate never, ever visited him the whole time he was there.
So she's not talking to him? It's not the other way around? Like
I don't know if she's trying now, but he said in the interview, like, no, she did not visit me and I don't have a relationship and I wish she would see.
Wow.
That's horrific.
I always
It's
knew
so
she was
sad.
just a terrible bitch by that haircut she had.
The worst.
This one.
Yeah. Yes, it was the worst.
You know what I mean? This one. I can do it. My hair's a little longer, but
Oh, you can
and I
do
need
it
a
perfectly
clip.
now.
And then,
Yeah.
but then, I was thinking about it and it was like, oh, that looks great. Oh my God, that looks so ugly.
I can't.
Look just like it though. That's like we used
You
to
can
do-
watch us on YouTube, everybody. Just subscribe to Heather Mcdonald on YouTube.
It's good if I have a clip here. But
Yes,
it's
you would
like-
need to like, yeah.
Can you? I don't know
Yeah.
If I, is it working?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
you're
it is
doing
working.
it.
It is really, it's like
exactly like
completely
it.
changes your look.
Yeah. I had 8 kids. I can't remember how she talks.
I can't either. I never really watched it. She was just always barking at John. And look, I mean, it was a lot. I don't know what they live off of now. And I know she was trying to get, when the 2 older girls were around, like years ago when they started to get older, she was going on like the Today Show and stuff. And I remember I'm like, oh, she's trying to get another show going with the older kids.
She definitely tries to get
because
more
that's all
shows.
they know how to do after a while. They're like, real work is so much harder than just having cameras follow me around. And as far as like him not connecting with his other siblings, I think that's sad, but I also think they don't talk to John. Like the whole family's been split. It's like John, the one girl, and him, and then the rest of them with Kate, and it's just really sad.
Was the twin a twin of with a boy or twin?
no
with a,
twin girls first?
That's also
And then
bizarre.
she went through fertility again and had 6.
You can't separate twins. Like
Well,
twins
they're
are
like
weird.
adults, so maybe they talk to each other. I don't know what the situation is. I don't think there's like a huge interest in this. I don't think anyone's going to get a show over it.
No.
But
I'm interested.
I'm happy to see that he's articulate, talking. So whatever his issues were as a 12-year-old or whatever
Yeah.
that sent him to this facility, I think that he is going to be okay. So that made me happy.
I'm dying to see what those other ones look like now because I thought they were pretty cute when they were little.
Yeah, I think they're all good. This radio host, he's like this big guy in Boston, and Teresa did a phone-in call from Paris after she was wearing like her Balenciaga cape and had no idea she shouldn't be wearing it. She's shopping around with Dolores and their new dudes. And she gets up and does this call-in because she and Margaret and somebody else has some event going on, Housewives Tell All or whatever in Boston. And I guess there's still tickets available. So she goes and does this radio show. And the guy's like, hey, Teresa, how you doing? God. So, you wrote a book about being in prison. You were in prison. You wrote a book about being in prison. So, like, did you talk about the food in prison? Like, what? Tell us about that. And she's like, I really don't want to talk about that right now. Like, that's not why I'm here. Like, it's about going to a really great event and staying positive, something that obviously you don't know anything about. And he's like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, I really don't want to talk about that. So then she hangs up, and then the hosts go on to say, like, she's the worst person we've ever talked to. She's so fucking rude. And we were given this long list of things that we couldn't ask her about, like Balenciaga, her fight with Melissa and Joe Gorga. And we didn't ask her anything about this, but in this bio, it says that she wrote all these books. So I saw one book was about her going to prison. So I asked her about that, and she didn't want to talk about it. And I kind of like... And then she's like, just listen to my podcast, Namaste Bitches. Maybe you should be like thinking about being more namaste. And I kind of was like, I don't know. I kind of see both sides of it. I was like, first of all, how annoyed you're in Paris, shopping and having a blast. And you're like, okay, you guys, I have to go upstairs really quick and call into Boston to sell some more tickets to see me and Margaret Josephs talk some bullshit. Like, so already, like, that was she should have been like, I'm not doing this call.
Yeah, I'm not.
I want to talk to you right now, Teresa.
Yeah.
It's time you start saying no to some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
promote
if
your
if a contract says if you come and do this live event, you have to do this press, have them take that out and say I can decide if I want to do it or not, because you don't need to do that. And to be on some jockey guy show, and I'm sure he's a big hit, and I'm sure he's super popular. But he's not a housewife fan.
No, exactly.
And he's like gonna shit on it.
And he's got to be.
he's
He's a
shitting
big
on
Boston guy. There's got to be a little bit of attitude there.
Totally.
Too. Like, oh, so you're in prison, Teresa? What was that like for you? Huh?
I don't really talk about that.
Yeah, come on. We want to talk about what you ate in prison. That's what we care about.
Yeah,
Come
I really
on.
don't want to.
What are
I
we
mean,
talking about here?
I just want to say we're going to have a really great time. Bring your girlfriends, bring your fun. I'm going to talk about my Louie and my daughters.
All right,
and
that's
we're gonna have
nice.
some
All
fun.
right, but did you get down with anyone? Do some 69ing in prison or what? Did you scissor? That's what we want to know.
I mean, I'm a mother and I have daughters and I have a new husband named Louie, and we're going to talk about all the stuff about housewives.
Women's voices,
so,
they're so annoying. Am I right, guys? Oh, all right, come on. What are we talking about here? Come
yes,
on.
I think that's what happened.
I
That
do
is what
too.
happened.
Totally. And
Yeah.
I listened to it too, and I felt like that.
Oh, you heard
I
it?
don't even need
Yeah,
to
I
hear
listened
it.
to it. Yeah.
I don't
And he was
even
doing that?
need to hear it.
They're like I said, a little bit like he was like, I get it that it was in the bio, but really they should have just kept it short. And I know that's not juicy when you have some come on that's like just gonna say, this is where you buy the tickets and this is what time it is and all that. That's not a juicy interview, but then you shouldn't have agreed to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
You should have been like, you know what? We'll just give you a shout out. We don't need to interview if
Yeah,
we can't.
that's
I say
true.
that all the time. I'm like, unless this person can come on and talk about these 3 juicy things that I want to ask her, we don't need to have her on.
Right.
Like, love her, whatever, or I like her. I'm going to give her a shout out and just say, go buy her book. But if I can't ask you this, I don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it would have been just as effective for her to just say, we're coming to town. We're going to talk,
right.
Yeah. about housewives.
Right.
Whoever's
Yeah.
listening be like, oh, shit. That's
Yeah.
all you're doing is just telling people about the
Yeah,
show.
like I would like to go. Yeah.
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 We met her and she couldn't have been nicer. He's a dick and she's one of the nicest people we've ever fucking met.
Ever.
She
She was nice to me, too.
She went and picked up Gia. All of her kids were there. We were at Melissa's house, and I was like bummed that we didn't get to meet Gia. This was when they were little.
Yeah.
And Antonia just got like her license. I'm like, gosh,
my
that's so
weird
bizarre.
God.
Yeah.
So Teresa left and went and picked up Gia and brought Gia back so that we could meet Gia. We love her.
Love.
Yeah.
She's so awesome.
We love Melissa too. I mean,
Yeah.
Melissa.
I know they're both
They're
so nice.
So
and
nice.
You know.
So cool.
Okay, Leslie Bedore is the new wife of Shannon Bedore's ex-husband, David Bedore.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Say it again.
Shannon Storms Bedore of the OC, got divorced from David Bedore. He then fell in love and she got pregnant, his girlfriend. They got married. They have a little girl, and her name's Leslie Bedore. Okay?
Okay.
And early on in their relationship, I started following her, and they went and had a very sexy trip away in Italy. And hold on, they took these photos.
What?
That's David Bedore?
That's David Bedore and Leslie Bedore with their pants down
Wait.
in the fields of Italy.
Wait.
He has blonde hair now?
This was a couple years ago, 2 years ago.
It's just long. That's like he'd had
So
short
this
hair.
was at the height of me doing Barbie
my.
reenactments.
Why are they constantly
So
being naked
I
everywhere?
did a Barbie reenactment of them. I did it and I posted it. Okay. Okay, so I did it and I posted it. And she loved it. She reposted it. Okay.
Wow.
So then I follow her. She sometimes would say, like, on my stories, like a little heart or something, whatever. And I'm like, this girl has a pretty good sense of humor. Like, she liked my, my Barbies. So then, sadly, we see that he has filed for divorce. This is like 3 months ago.
Of course. He's such a
And-
philandering piece of shit.
And then she posts with him, everything's okay, go back to your regular viewing. Okay, so they got back together. All right, fine. Then she does a post, I filed for divorce. Okay, all right, I guess it didn't work out. They're getting divorced. Then they show them with the little girl in like Montana or wherever they have like a second home. Oh, okay, guess they're back together.
I know he's so
Then
rich.
someone brings it to our attention that she posted this, and they sent it to us. Cheating on a good person is like throwing away a diamond and picking up a rock. The worst thing about being lied to is simply knowing knowing you weren't worth the truth. And so people are like, oh, looks like Leslie Bedore and David Bedore are getting divorced again. They said it. So I go, oh, let me go back. I haven't seen her stuff lately. Let me go look at it. And and I go to her page, and I can't get to her page.
Uh-oh.
I'm checking it over and over again. Am I spelling Leslie wrong? Been blocked.
No.
Yes.
And so has Peter, and so has Annie.
Oh, because she knew you were going to try to creep onto Peter's phone?
Do you want us to look her up from my phone?
We found another person
Okay.
to look it up. And I was like,
What? Wow.
okay.
Had you talked shit? You hadn't, right?
I don't really think that I have. Like, I was just like, I was like, hey,
Is it because you have been around Shannon?
I don't know. But I was like, look, if you stay together, great. If you don't, I don't know. I don't know why you broke up. It's a blended family. I don't know. She's got 2 kids. He has the 3 girls. Who knows what happened? Maybe they should read the squirrels and the
And the McNuggets.
Better together.
They should read the squirrels and the McNuggets.
and maybe it'll work out. I don't know. But,
They should.
on her page, though, as far as the first 8 photos on the grid, he is not there anymore.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on with them, but you are a public figure, David Bador, by going on a show, and then she, has almost 100,000 followers.
God,
so
that's
but it's
unbelievable.
okay if you don't want me to be your follower. It's fine.
If you are okay, so if I'm Shannon Bador, and then let's just use these as names.
Yes.
I'm Shannon Bador, then I get divorced from David Bador. I keep my name as Shannon Bador, but then David Bador gets married to another woman named, now she takes his name and she's Leslie Bador. So now Shannon Bador and Leslie Bador both have the same last name. If you were one of these ladies, do you want to keep that last name?
Well, I think
Because Shannon Bador then keeps the name, and then Leslie
Shannon
Bador has it too. Now are we related?
Shannon kind of uses her maiden name now.
She does.
I don't know if it's
Good.
legally if she got rid of Bador, because I know a lot of women don't want to get rid of Bador if their daughters have that, like get rid of their married
Because that's the
name.
family name. Now my kids are this name.
But I mean,
what if the
in
new wife has the name?
In the new show, she's like, I'm Shannon Storms, and so like she had like a saying where it's something about storms and
Bador.
yeah, and she has a serious boyfriend,
and
and she has a
Bador.
serious boyfriend. So it's like I think she's fine, but like.
But
this
I'm-
is still
but it just makes
disruptive
me-
to her life if they break up, good or bad.
Of course.
Because the daughters are then, I don't know.
But it does lead me down the road. I'm just using this as the name for it could be another name. It could be Weinberg. It could be
Yeah.
a Goldman. It could be whatever.
Could
But
be
it
Harvey Weinstein.
Could be
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein. Let's say I'm Julie Weinstein. I'm married to Harvey Weinstein or whoever, and then he marries somebody else, and then Lori takes the name too. Now
Yeah.
she's Lori Weinstein. Now it's me. I'm Julie Weinstein, and you're Lori Weinstein. Now, I
Yeah.
don't want to be you if you're married to my ex. Now we
Yeah.
have the same last name.
You know who didn't like it?
Who?
Betty Broderick.
She killed him.
She really didn't like it. She really didn't like that there was another Mrs. Broderick
Yeah.
walking around.
I'm impressed that Leslie was able to find Annie.
I am too. Annie. No, Annie feels like she has fucking made it. She's like, I did not even know that I had this kind of power, wielding around this kind of power. Anyway, good luck to them. Whatever happens, I look forward to you
them.
breaking up and getting back together 12 more times.
Absolutely fuck
before-
them. I hate David Bador. That picture was horrendous. She blocked you. She's a twat. Don't block her from listening to this podcast.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake. You guys talk away. How do you feel about this season?
First of all, I want to say this last episode.
So they go to San Diego, everybody, and Whitney got a nice little snark in. Another trip where we travel domestically because somebody can't leave the country based on a trial that's coming up. So they go to San Diego.
It looked like a nice trip.
Looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
It was such a good episode. It was, to me, I thought it was the best episode yet this season.
Yes.
Agreed.
We are Lisa Barlow stans. So
I love that.
Yeah. So
We
should
love it
we?
too.
I'm finding that Meredith is
Yeah. Go on.
she's boring.
Yeah.
And I'm
What is the point of
this-
Meredith? What is going on with her?
Yeah, it's like-
I feel like she is just only about like looking pretty. Like there's
it.
literally nothing that she's doing or saying or
I'm gonna brutalize a bathtub suit with my husband's sauce.
there.
oh my god, those atrocious scenes in the bath.
Here's the thing. I guess we always say, "What's your storyline?" Well, not everyone has a storyline. She got back together with her husband. Her son is out and happy. There isn't anything going on for them. She still has the same little store in Park City. There isn't anything.
She's disengaging with Lisa Barlow,
Yeah,
which is a mistake for the show, because if you engage with Lisa Barlow, you'd have a storyline.
Yeah, it's true.
So
True
you're
that.
not, and she's trying to do it with Jen Shaw, but of course Jen Shaw's now a pariah or whatever. But it's like you should be sticking with Lisa Barlow.
Yeah.
And that's Meredith's fatal mistake.
Because look who's in the middle holding the snowflake.
right.
Miss Lisa. And she's exactly the opposite of a CEO of fun. Is Meredith fun?
I guess I'm the CEO of fun, but I don't know what's going on. I can't really open my mouth very loud, so I can't do a whoop whoop like Vicky Goldman. Yeah, she is. Anyway, so they go on a cruise, and then it is weird because it was the same storyline that always happens. Is Jen is this is my week, this is my party, and this new girl is like, no, I booked the Airbnb, or I know the person who owns this house, and who knows what the fuck is the truth. But like,
Yeah, I
and then
didn't get
she
that.
pours a champagne over her friend of 20 years head, and she's like, this is being fun. And the girl is like, I just blew out my hair, like,
That was
furious
that
if
was
I
awful.
was her.
God.
Like, I
Oh,
just blew,
we
I just
know
did my
those
hair today.
blowouts.
It takes an hour and a half extra if I wash my hair and blow it out from scratch.
You
And
don't
this
get your
girl
hair
had
blown
slick-
out at like
no.
Dry Bar?
No, I do it
You
myself.
do it so good.
Thank you.
You do it so good. I always think that you
Oh no.
that you get it blown out.
No, but so it's even more work if this girl blew it herself. And this girl has like very straight black hair, so real shine got in it. And she's like, what? We have 3 hours. Well, she's gonna wash it all over again. So now you have like a sticky chunk that you're gonna have to like half like wash. Like I literally imagine the girl like taking half of her hair and just taking one chunk and being like, hold on, and like putting water on it
Yeah.
and like trying to save it. And it's so yeah.
Look,
So
it's-
then they get in a fight, and then
it
she
was
reveals, the
egregious.
other girl reveals that I threw you a party, and it wasn't my intention to pick up the whole bill, but it was 15 grand, and you haven't sent me any money. Well, if somebody is looking at going in a trial for scamming people for 20 years and also living beyond their means, I don't know why you would think that they were good for the money when they're paying attorneys $100,000 every month. Do you think that you're going to get your 15 grand back? Maybe don't do a flower wall, bitch.
Yeah,
Maybe
and you
keep
were
it to,
clearly clout chasing the show. She
Yes.
was trying to get
Yeah,
on the
of
show.
course.
She held the event. She thought production was going to
She's
reimburse
also
her.
super rich.
She's so
Beyond rich.
And I loved when Jen Shaw said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I guess I'll send Meredith the $80,000 for her party."
Yeah.
Because remember that insane party in season 1?
Do you imagine if, like, the way that everyone went after Erica Jane with, like, you need to give back everything because you were married to Tom Girardi, like, where, every item that was ever bought in the last 23 years is owed to the victims. A lot of people argue that. And then I'm like, okay, well, what about the donations that were made to Gavin Newsom and everybody else? Are they all supposed to give that money back to the victims? And what about, this person who we bought a house for? Are they supposed to give that money back? And it's the same thing. It's like, is all of a sudden Meredith supposed to write a check for $80,000 and give it back to the victims of the marketing scam? Like, what about, where does Coach Shaw? What does Coach Shaw owe? What about all the Polynesian cousins?
Yeah.
Like, where was their pineapple rice? Who paid for that pineapple rice?
That sounds
Like,
good.
what?
Yeah, I mean,
I know,
like,
that sounds
I want
so
some.
good.
I should
Yeah.
pork fried rice. Sounds really good right now. Like,
Fried rice sounds good too.
that was just that lady with that money and the thing. It was like, come on. And also, I agree with you. What are you supposed to do
Yeah.
at some point?
Right.
Like,
I
she's-
don't really like that lady. What is her name? Angie.
Angie. There's another Angie. There's
two
Two
Angies.
Angies.
bitch Angies on there.
There are two side piece Angies that are like
They're
real.
trying so hard to stay on the show. And Dana, the most unfun person I've ever seen. Dana.
But she is our.
I don't like Dana
Wait, but she
right
is
now.
our first diverse character. And by diverse, I mean,
What do you mean?
naturally gray.
Oh.
We've never had a housewife rock natural gray
Wow.
strands.
Who
I
has
didn't
gray
even
hair?
see.
She is
I
a
didn't even see.
trailblazer.
I
Who
didn't
has
even
gray
see.
hair? I didn't see
She
Dana.
has dark hair with like grays are coming in. It's not overwhelming, but it's
Oh,
not
okay.
a skunk streak. It's just like just as someone starts to go gray and they're like, do I pluck it? Do I color it? She's letting it come in.
Oh, cool.
And
That's going to be.
It actually looks really
That's
pretty.
going to be important for just in general.
I know. So I'm like, this
Yeah.
is like she checks 2 boxes.
And I do think, even though she's just like barf, but I think she's so pretty. I think she's really
the new
pretty.
girl,
Dana.
Yeah,
Dana.
and I think she's gonna look
And
so
Her
pretty
name,
gray.
her name for me, it makes me want to say it loudly. I don't know why. Dana, like it's like that.
Okay, moving on. Sister Wives. I said on the show the other day how much I thought the Sisters Wives were being paid because they are the poorest reality stars that I've ever seen in the history of reality show stars.
And you told us that
They're
on the
going
phone.
on 17 years. Okay, 17 years they've been on the show, and I heard from somebody. So I said I think they get about $5,000 an episode each, which is like nothing. And someone said, Heather, you're practically correct because she somehow did the research, or someone did. They get 150 per season, 150,000 per season
Each.
but divided through the episodes, it falls between 5,000 and 8,000 an episode.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
was so fucking on the nail. Like, I'm so good about it.
And they never paid any of the kids.
They don't pay the kids. That's why they move on and don't come around and because they're
don't
like,
film.
who cares? Yeah, who cares? And so Christine is gone and she lives in Utah now, and that's it.
So
do you
what
guys
do we think is going to happen? Is Christine going to do a dating show? Because they're doing, 90 Days, The Single Life, or whatever the hell that all those garbage shows are. But I'm like, what can we do with Christine here? 'Cause she's the prettiest one.
It would be fun to see her date some people, I think. I don't know. I mean, I can't stop watching the show.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I had a sexual dream about Cody. I told you about that.
Yep.
I have a dream that I'm in it, because I watch it late at night, and I dream like I'm one of the wives. And I think because I'm like their age, though I'm only a single wife, I'm just, the whole thing is so weird and fascinating. And now that I think it's so clear that they were all tricked into being told, as a polygamous wife, the worst thing you can be is jealous or selfish. So don't be jealous that I'm with Robin, and don't be selfish and give us all your money so that Robin and divorce me so Robin can be the real wife, and Robin and I can live in our house with our nanny. Do you remember that part where she goes, what does the nanny do? So the whole COVID thing was their way for him just to stay with the wife he likes. And he kept saying, well, I have little kids and da-da-da. And then they're like, and the nanny, follows the protocol, and we all are in our own little pod of not getting COVID. They all get COVID, and the nanny got COVID. And Christine was like, what does the nanny do? If they're all staying home and their only job is to film themselves and put it in a Dropbox to TLC, then why the fuck did they need a nanny? Because they were spending the money, because they're like, I don't want to teach my kids. I get it. When people had to stay home with their kids, a lot of people hired private tutors or whatever, or had a live-in nanny to do it. That's what they did. And they were like, well,
this particular season showcased what an enormous, selfish, misogynistic, narcissistic pig that Cody is.
Yep.
And through all of Sister Wives, I always had this feeling. It's always with him. He's whatever. He's annoying. He's bug nut. He's whatever with his hair and his fucking goatee. But I always thought these women are actually pretty empowered, and they seem like they're doing what they want and whatever. And he's, I don't know. But this season, really, the curtain was ripped open on his truth.
Well,
and he is disgusting.
I can't stand Mary. And what I really want to know is when the show, I would like to know what Mary thinks now that they obviously watch the show.
right.
And she sees him say,
Yep.
Mary can go. Because he literally is like, Mary can go. I don't
I
care.
think she
Mary can
knows
go.
it, but she's like, if I leave, I'm just going to be left at this Airbnb and I'm not going to be on the show, and I'm not going to have the fun of being on the show. I only have one child that's a full-blown adult. The other kids
both
that are
lesbians.
around,
We're both total
wants to
dykes.
go Airbnb with her lesbian girlfriend.
She identifies as a man now, her daughter.
What?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. the daughter's become Leon
Oh,
with
we
her
didn't know that.
partner. Both of the lesbians are now men, and yes, that is true.
Leon's my father's name.
And really,
Yeah.
and
Leon. That's not all I can
and-
think of that as that.
So, but she doesn't see her child and the child's partner really, and so I think she's just like, I'm just going to stick around. And I mean, there was one scene where she's like, "Well, Cody said that we could be friends. Why do you even want to be friends with him? You really don't."
No.
But she just doesn't want to give up this identity. She identifies as a sister wife, and
She
as
clearly-
as a reality star, and she's not willing. She's not going to gain anything by officially completely leaving. That's why she stays.
Even if he's blatantly being like, she can go. I
Yeah.
love how he's furious at Christine, but he doesn't care about Mary.
Yeah.
I said Mary did a retreat to empower women, and nobody came. She didn't sell any tickets. She just had people from her her marketing of LuLaRoe come.
yes.
And I thought when I heard about it, I'm like, I think she's trying to find another wife to marry Cody, help the show, and also shove it up Robin's butt. Like,
Right.
oh, now how do you like it? Now how do you fucking like it?
Yeah.
I got a hot girl that can sell leggings better than you who wants to dance around with Cody.
Oh, God.
And she's young. She's 33. She can give him more kids. You can't.
Oh, and he just wants
That's
to
what I
keep
think Mary
having
would like to do.
kids and kids
Kids,
and
yeah.
kids.
Really quickly before we go,
Okay.
I just want to say this was another one of these page 6 articles I'm talking about. This is the most backhanded compliment. It's Courtney going up some steps. She looks great, but she didn't Photoshop the little back fold. Okay,
Because she moved her back, and the back moves when
and
one
that's
moves
and
their
when you're
body.
43 years old and you're barely wearing any clothes.
I mean-
I have that same back. Okay, it happens. It's a little hereditary situation. Unless you suck it out, you're going to have a little flap around your bra. But then they make an article out of it, and they wrote this and this. They take a comment from another person that commented on her post and said, "This is a breath of fresh air compared to the edited pics shoved in our faces 24/7." If that isn't the most passive aggressive backhanded compliment, not you look great, but isn't it nice that you didn't edit out your back fat? Like, okay, thanks for pointing it out. Thanks, page 6. I thought I looked great and I just posted it, but now you have to point it out like, oh, you know what I love? A woman with some cellulite. You go, girl. You know what I really like is I like that Heather kept that one dimple in her thigh when she crossed her legs. She didn't have Annie edit it out. She's like, hey, look at that dimple winking at you.
Thank God page 6 is there when I don't want to read news
Yeah.
like that.
All page 6 does is post Instagram posts.
Yeah.
That's their whole thing now, like you said. I know that old chestnut of crossing the leg and the cellulite comes out, and then you got to go
Yep.
and try to tuck it under.
Tuck it under.
I mean, you don't even need to edit the photo if you
There's
just
so
tuck it
many
under.
things that are appearing on my legs now. I don't understand. There's weird dimples. There's like something's
what?
happening
And
in my calf. I'm like, do I have a blood clot? I don't understand what it is.
And you talking about it? Brave.
Brave. Hashtag hero.
Oh,
Hashtag
Brave.
hero.
The
I'm a
hero
hero.
thirst. The hero thirst.
I'm a hero.
Remember
You know
we
what
were
I'm-
gonna do? We were gonna do
There's
like
Navy
FUPA
SEALs
Fridays or something.
And
Oh, yeah.
then there's women who show their cellulite on Instagram, and they are one and the same.
You know what I'm
Oh, it
not
was
going to be
Muffin
told?
Top Mondays.
Oh, muffin.
It was Muffin Top Mondays, but we could do
Oh no,
FUPA Friday.
And no, I had back fat Tuesdays. I did have back fat Tuesday.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good restaurant.
Muffin Top Mondays, totally way to go. What else?
Did you say Fupa Friday?
Yeah.
Fupa Fridays, all about it.
I mean,
I put on a pair of pants yesterday, like joggers or whatever, and my t-shirt didn't go all the way down past the fupa, and I thought I had a dick. I looked in the mirror and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I can squeeze it in my hand. It's so fat. And
Again, brave.
it came out my pants.
Oh, brave.
It was like coming through, like protruding like balls.
Fupa Friday.
It's crazy.
Girls,
Yeah, brave.
I hope that this trip gets canceled. If it doesn't, people can always listen to Dumb Gay Politics. They can join your Patreon. You actually have a website that's working now. What's it called?
JulieandBrandy.com.
Yes. And I love it. And I'm going to see you at our Christmas party.
Can't wait to eat steak and
I'm so
drink my
hungry.
sh-
I think you should have a tiny, tiny, tiny breakfast.
I'm not gonna eat it all.
No.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
good.
I'm getting the porterhouse for
This is the
two,
best
and I'm
steak
eating
I've
it
ever
alone because my fupa is hungry. My
No,
fupa's-
you're sharing it with me.
Oh, I'm sharing it with Brandy.
It was the best steak I've ever had at your Christmas party last
Ever.
The best dick or steak? Oh.
Both.
That's
dick.
right.
You did
That
say
dick.
dick. You really did say
I said
dick.
dick?
I did. She was talking about the fupa dick, and you go, the best dick I ever had. You really
That's right. This fupa dick's the best
Oh
dick
my
anyone's
God.
gonna eat. Weird.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever
meant
heard
steak.
Sure you did. Sure you did. That's where the mind is. Thank you.